Alright, hey guys, this is Geometry for Friday, April 24th. What we're going to do is just do a quick review and over a few of the problems that we're supposed to do yesterday, and then that'll be pretty much all we do today. So today you won't really be working any problems. I'll just be trying to clean up any questions you may have had, and then we will review a little bit for the test, and then review a little bit for the test on Monday, and then y'all will take it Monday as well. And so one thing to go ahead and give y'all for the test material, you need to know the ratio for the geometric mean. You need to know the ratio for the golden ratio. You need to know the golden rectangle, what that is. You need to know what a proportion is, what a ratio is, what a scale factor, and what similar are. So you need to be able to identify those. Again, geometric mean, golden ratio, golden rectangle, proportion, ratio, scale factor, and similar. So make sure you're acquainted with those, and that can help you with the matching portion. For the test as well, we're going to cut down some of it, but I'll let y'all know that on Monday, but I wanted to make sure to mention that before we moved on. So for today, we're just going to basically look at a few problems and talk it through, and then we'll go from there. So for number one, it says, use the diagram for the indicated dilation given the scale factor. And so you're basically just going to be making that figure bigger or smaller. If it's a fraction, you're going to be reducing it by 1/2 for number one. For number two, you're going to make it 4 times larger. And so that'll help you there. Number 3, 4, and 5, it said in a given dilation, O is the center, A is mapped onto A prime, B is mapped onto B prime, and C is mapped onto C prime. Find the indicated measures using a factor of 1/4. So, a factor of 1/4. And so, all we're going to do here is, for number 3, it said AO equals 16, and so we're just going to use the factor, we're just going to multiply, and so it's just going to be 16 times 1/4, or 16 divided by 4, and so for number 3, you should have gotten 4 units as your answer. Number 3, you should have got 4 units. I'll look at number 5. Again, same process. They give you OC is 60, and it's a scale factor of 1/4. So find OC prime. And so it's going to be 60 times 1/4, or 60 divided by 4, which would give you 15 units. So again, you just use the factor to figure out what the prime would be. 6 through 9, you're just doing the solve each proportion. So we'll look at number 6 together. So 6 said x over 9 equals 18 over 54. So again, once they have the proportion set up, the ratio set up, it's just going to be cross multiplication, or you can cross reduce too. So for example here, I'm just going to do x times 54, and that'll be 54x. Then I can do 9 times 18, and 9 times 18 would be 162, and then 162 divided by 54 would equal x would equal 3. And so that would be number 6. 7 and 8, we're going to work the same way as that. So 7 was 10/3, 8 was 1/08. So if you need to look at those, give you those answers. And so that was just the proportion segment. 9 through 11, it says state whether the following pairs of similar figures, explain why they are similar, why they are not similar. And so remember, we had a few different types. We had side, side, side. Side, side, side was where every side's proportion matched up. So you would do the side of the big triangle and over the side of the smaller triangle that matched. Then you would do the side over the side, and then you would do the side over the side. And those portions would have to, those ratios would have to match. If those ratios matched, then it would be similar figures. We also had side angle side, was where the two sides of the triangle had to match. So the two sides of the triangles had to match. So these two sides, so for example, 1/3 would have to equal this 2/4, so that the measure of that side would have to work, and then the angles would have to be the same. And so, for example, just doing a problem up on the board, if this was 10/30, and then this was 30/90, notice 10/30 is the same ratio as 30/90. And so that would equal the side portion. And then if these two angles are the same, that would be the angle portion. And so that would be your side angle side. So those two are important that we had. And so that'll help you out there. So for example, number 9, you're basically going to set up the proportions. And then if the proportions were the same, then it would be similar because of side. So number 9 would be similar because of side. Because 2/8 equals 4/16 equals 3/12. And so all of those match, and so that would be similar. Number 10, you would do the same way, but they would be not similar because those proportions don't match. So 10, the proportions don't match, so it would be not similar. And then 11, it's not even the same shape, so they can't be similar if they're not even the same shape. So number 11 would be not similar because they're not even the same shape. And so those give you the answer for that. All right, we're going to skip over to 15. So 15, it says, can the lengths and units given here be possible side lengths of similar triangles? And so basically, again, you're just checking to see if they're in proportion. So for number 15, you would have to set up the proportion 4/16, 9/36, 12/48, and see if those match. If those match, then they are similar. In that case, they do, so it is similar. Those can be the lengths. So that'll help those 16 and 17 and 18 work the same way there. So again, 18 says state 3 ways to prove that triangles are similar. Again, that was our angle. If you have 2 angles that match, if you had side, the proportions of the sides match, or side, where 2 sides match and then the included angle are equal. So that would be 18. Looking at 19, 20, and 21, we had the altitude to the hypotenuse thing. And so, for example, I'll look at number 20 with you. So 20 says, that we have this triangle, and they tell us that it's AX, BC. So A to X is 27, and then it says XB is 3, and then it says find CX. And so remember here, our proportion for this theorem said that the leg, the segment to the altitude is the same as the altitude to the leg, and so you would set up 27 over X, 27, or I'll do Y since I'll say that length is Y. So 27 over Y equals Y over 3. So again here, Y times Y would give us Y squared. 27 times 3 would give us 84, 81. So Y squared equals 81. Then you would square root both sides. And so you would get Y equals 9 as your answer. So again, your segment to your altitude is equal to your altitude over your segment. That was that one. So those would help you there. And again, that's how it's going to work. They're just going to give you different information. If they had plugged in this one, you still set up the fraction, and then you just set it in. So depending on what they give you, it changes. So if they could have given you, for example, that same problem, they could have given it to you like this, where they said this is 9, that was 27. What was that? Well, in that case, you're just going to do 27 over 9 equals 9 over I don't know. And then you're going to cross multiply, solve for X. And so, or solve for Y there. So depending on what they give you, you may plug into different places, but that's the concept. This over that equals that over this. and then they're equal. So that will help you on 19 through 21 concept. 22 through 30, basically you're going to just use that information using the angle bisectors and medians and things like that. So you just have to remember how to set up the different problems. And so looking back real quick, that was on page 557 would have helped you with those. Remember that dealing with your similar triangles and parameters. And so it's really just how you see it. You have to be able to see it and be able to do those. So I will do number 22 with you, I mean. So I'll do 22 real quick. Again, this is just a quick spot check of material. I'm trying to give you some answers, that way you know what they were, but also cover a few of them. And so 22 said they give you, real quick, JK, then they give you JK is 6. JI was 8. And they give us this, and they tell us that QP was 4. And they want to know what QR is. And so again, basically you're going to set up a proportion. And so you're going to do 8 over 6. Well, you can set it up a few different ways, really. We know that the altitudes have to be proportionate, and we know that the sides have to be proportionate. And so to do this, really, you can set the 6 over the I don't know equal to the 8 over the 4. Cross multiply, basically. 6 times 4 is 24. So equals 8 times y, which is 8y. Divide 8 by 24 gives you 3. So your answer would be 3. So that's one way you can do it. Notice all of these are proportionate, so you can actually use the theorems a few different ways. You could have set it up that way. Because we know these are similar triangles, we know that their actual proportions from their side to their, for example, the side to the altitude has to be proportionate to the side and the altitude. So you could have set it up as 8 over 6 equals 4 over x, and then cross multiply, you're going to get the same thing. And so you can use it however you see it. The way I did it was how the theorem showed us, but once you know they're similar, basically all their parts have to be similar to each other. So you can just use what you know based off that. And so that'll help you out there. The other ones work the same way. 27 is the telephone type pole. The telephone pole, so again you do like the pole times the other pole, like pole over shadow equals pole over shadow. And so that is basically how you're going to do that. And so just keep in mind, it would be a good idea before we move on to, that gives you basically a rough overview. I'll give you a couple more answers here just so you have the answers. 24, I'll give you that was 12. 26 was 8.3. 27, the telephone problem, was 44 feet. And so that will give you a couple of answers to where if you missed any of those, you can go back and look at them and try to work on. If you have any questions on any particular problems on that, get with me this weekend. I can kind of help you out and give you the answers on any of the other ones you may want. So a good thing to do before we get to the review for the actual test, I'll go through basically the test outlay and basically go through it real quickly before you take it on Monday. If you have any questions, get with me. Good idea to go back and make sure we understand our theorems again, so that'll help. Outside of that, it's up to you if you have any questions to get with me so I can clean it up. So I hope you all have a good day.